Hey, I'm trying to rap over here. I mean, damn, come on now. Applying pressure.
You're live.
I just kind of want to listen. I don't know, man. Every time you do this, I just kind of want to listen to the parts of it again and try to think about picking out what the hell he's saying, you know?
I mean,
Like,
you said when you heard his first rap, this showed how much of a gangster he was. Like, he was ready to game.
I mean, he's still working, right? It's still progress.
Welcome to
Still
people, Steven.
hustling. Oh, yeah. Sorry. We're live on YouTube. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Steven. Sliding in here super early, not late at all. Parkway Automotive Studios, right?
Peach Podcast Syndicate, Parkway Automotive Studios.
That's the same thing.
Middle Georgia.
Yeah, that's what we do.
21 days, 3 weeks.
Same thing. It adds
Same,
up.
same.
It
but
all
different.
adds up.
Math is math.
It's math of science.
Yes.
We determined that in season 1 of Dream Show Live. So yeah, what's up? Got Isaac back. You got a camera on you today? It looks like you got a camera.
Yes, I have a camera. What's up, people?
I see Isaac there. We got Mandy here. Miss Man. Oh, the peace sign girl.
Conscious Keelan and Amy Stackhouse, wavy hands.
Wavy hands at those people as well.
Good
What's
morning
up,
to
everybody?
Jiu-Jitsu Bud 10P.
Yeah, so Musgrove Trial Firm, right? Shout out to them. They're hooking us up.
678-226-1994.
Boom.
I mean, that's the thing. Just call them if you need some help.
Call
They'll-
buddy.
Call your
just-
buddy.
Just check. You know, you might need some help, and if you don't, that's okay. They can tell you. But yeah, dude, super busy, doing a lot of things, trying to put all the stuffs together. The last 2 weekends were like seminar weekends, and we went to to San Diego and had Mandy's birthday weekend, and last weekend I was in Wetumpka.
Tonka.
which had a-
Wetumpka. What'd you think about Wetumpka?
I mean, we weren't there super long, right? But
That's my old stomping
the,
grounds, man.
the school was nice, and the people, the students were large.
Except for one guy. If
like-
you look at the lineup, it was a lot of giants, and then there was this like
It's-
5-foot
It's nice,
thin
man.
guy.
It was fun. They're ready and eager to learn. And so try to share some of my best stuff that they could apply across the board, to each other, and then gave some roll, threw some rolls down and stuff, and just had a good time. I tried to run the same seminar both weekends to try to like work on some of those finer points maybe and see what comes across,
What people don't get.
like
What's missing.
what universally
Yeah.
is a problem, like from San Diego where there's that full spectrum of the room to now we're over here in Wetumpka, and because like in the room with you guys and we've talked about this, Isaac, we get to work it out like every day or something like that, like we could be like, all right, today we did something, and then tomorrow I can come back and be like, oh yeah, I forgot like to add this one detail in, I guess. Like I was doing it maybe when I was demoing, but I didn't really like articulate this one fully. So people are like missing it. So you have the ability to kind of go back into that. So when I go to seminars, you want to kind of cut out a lot of that, like not having all the information really to give each person like not necessarily a quick fire response, but like a good response to as many of the problems for whatever the given topic is that you're teaching about. And for me, it was passing lockdown or like breaking the lockdown, going into half and then passing from half into mount, and then working the head and arm stuff, which is bread and butter for me. But it's interesting to see that like how many people don't have that in their game a lot.
Yeah.
Or don't have a good lockdown to even start the whole initiation.
Well, yeah, like you go, the one guy doesn't use lockdown or whoever, and so they don't use it the right way when we're trying to show how to unwind it. So there's confusion in that when.
What is the right way when you're talking about in lockdown? Because I know you and I have talked about this because I came up under a guy that was like old school lockdown, so he called it like scorpion, and like I had those terminologies, and so I had to play catch up on the terminology of playing like Dipset and things like that.
I think
Like,
words are
what's-
just like the terminology is just interchanges, like room to room for
Mhm.
sure. All right, so what do you ask? Like, what's the?
When you say the right, like they don't have the right way, like what is
so
the wrong way? I guess.
Well, I guess, and so like I guess to say the traditional lockdown is half guard, but instead of having the leg that's on the inside going out,
Flip it.
both feet now are on the inside. So you bring the outside leg over on the inside, and then the inside leg comes over the top of that one, connecting like the front of your ankle kind of and shin to like Achilles and stuff. And then you want to slide that out and make the connection there if you can, kind of towards the ankle and the instep. And if they're not doing, if their feet are on the opposite side, so like I guess what you may think of as like reverse lockdown, or what would be technically the truck in a lot of ways if you weren't in half guard, the feet are on the outside. So it's just kind of like alternating lockdowns,
outside versus inside,
and where your body's at, right? So that may not have made sense to many people, I guess, but
it might make sense to the majority of the people
if
listening.
If you're not a visual person, that might have made perfect sense.
I mean, they're both like not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily be in the lockdown, I guess, to be in the truck, but using opposing lockdowns is kind of the difference between lockdown and the truck plays. But you could get calf slices off of both. You can get, you know, a lot of different plays kind of related that are off of both. But the configuration on your feet is just different inside outside. That's all. And so if they don't do that, then you don't have to really worry about that one first detail. And so if you're trying to spend your time getting the first part right as the guy passing guard, but the guy that's in the guard is using a different guard.
That's
right.
That's where a lot of confusion was.
You know what I mean? It's
Steven was like, do X, Y, Z. And they're like, well, their leg's not right here. And he's like, oh, because you don't have lockdown. That's why. Forget all that.
Just start in the right.
Yeah. Just go to the next step. Like you don't have to break it out.
And so that's the thing, is like it was true in San Diego and then with Tonka, because in San Diego there were people who was like, there was one dude, it was his first day. Like he came in and signed up that morning.
Just happened to be in town.
He's like, oh, it's like a seminar. No, he signed up like for classes or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's like a seminar today. Okay, whatever. It's like donation based. Cool. I'll jump in and try it out or whatever. So his first class was my seminar, like at the school, which is, it was cool, right? So I had to make sure that we were trying to get him the right information at the same time as there's some of my black belt buddies. One of them specifically, Danny Bull. I don't know if you're watching. Taught people how to beat him specifically
like calling people out.
Just what he likes to do. This is how I would stop him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he's got such a depth of understanding. Like he's put me in the electric chair before and like taught me that you can't just sit there and let people split your legs for 30 or 45 seconds, because then you won't walk straight for a couple of weeks. So we've been battling it out for a while, from here and in the streets. Just is what it is. So just trying to find those most universal principles of the things that we're working on to apply for taller, shorter, bigger, stronger, whatever the situation kind of calls for, to make it work for everybody, so to say. Which was fun, and so we're back here, ready to work, trying to get to Costa Rica, dude. Trying to get there. Jeez Louise.
Everything's just falling into place. It's just that crunch right in the end where you think everything's about to fall apart, but
like everything.
Shout out to Kirby. He said it's all going to be okay. So
no, he's making it work, man. We're making it work. We're all hustling. Like that's the thing, is like everything that can happen will happen, and you got to be ready and prepared to try to pivot as much as you can and dig down as much sometimes, and double down when it may not feel comfortable to do so. And that's what we're having to do a little bit here with this trip. But it feels, dude, it's almost like a fight. And you know what I mean? Like you've been in camp for a while now or whatever. And, and like, man, we've already done some like training camps where we've already went down and like scouted and all that kind of stuff where you went, you've already spent money that doesn't make money.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed. And it's kind of scary. You know what I mean? It's like there's now if it fell apart, we're screwed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I got to get this fight. I got to get to this fight and get through it and hopefully be healthy, and then we can like exhale and then look at the next thing.
Over again.
Right. It basically, sorry, babe. She's like, from her perspective.
As soon as finish one and start one right behind it, which is funny though, because that's exactly like your metaphor there. The fight is literally like the same thing. It's just you going up that hill. Ooh, we made it. And you might wait a week or you might wait 2 weeks. Like, you know what?
Depends on how healthy I am.
Right. Well, yeah, you got to get ready to start another one. It's like almost like an adrenaline rush.
It is. No, it is definitely like
you're
part of it.
Seeking out that adrenaline.
It's definitely a huge form of stimulation that sometimes becomes overstimulation. Do you know? Because I don't have to.
What do you do to mitigate that now? Like, because you recognize that, and that's something negative that happens for fighters in their career.
I take lots of naps.
Naps.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like if I start feeling like tired and like my brain doesn't feel like it's like snapping, I try to just take a little nap if I can.
Yeah. Steven woke up the other day. He's like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. He's like, I need to write a little bit before I do whatever this afternoon. And he was like, you know what? My brain's just, I can't write right now. I'm just going to go ahead and take my nap real quick. Just throw it in there. Yeah.
So just did that and kind of reset, you know, and try to go again. And then obviously I do a bad job of it a lot of times too, and kind of bug out sometimes and, you know, try to be alone for a while and reset through that, you know, because I don't have as much of the hard training to hide behind as much all the time. Like it used to be that used to be the way. But now without being out there sort of on the hunt all the time, it changes. So I try to rest as much as I can, to be honest with you, as different as it may be. Because I spend a lot of time at the gym, you know, all day in and out, kind of making sure everything that's needing to be done is kind of hopefully being done, because there's a lot of little things that need to be done to make it just go, you know what I mean? And then to make it go well, it takes a lot more than that. You know, it's not just opening the doors and having some mats and letting class develop. You know, I mean, you can do that, but that's not going to be a successful like business model to have. And we need to do well as a business in order to survive it. So trying to figure out like all the pieces of that, while like now I am doing like every kid's class. I teach every class every day, basically. Now, if there's a class on the schedule, I'm the instructor that's scheduled to teach, because I mean, it's tough to keep people that aren't like living here and like don't have another job that they, you know, need to do, or their own gym or anything like, you know. So it's been hard to kind of keep help in that way. So just doubling down again now, teaching
17 classes a week. I did the math.
Yeah, at least, right? At least that many, you know, and then not dealing with, but like, and then I do some like one-on-ones and stuff like that with people.
Shout out to the Kajabi Mastermind class.
Yeah, I got a coaching like group that I'm working with. It's a couple of guys right now. We're figuring out, you know, the ins and outs of best practices with that too before we get to it, you know, outside of our realm of control and stuff. So just really trying to do a lot of stuff, man, and seeing which like idea or experiment or however you'd like to look at it is going to be the things that stick, you know. And then there's things that just like, oh, you know, that wasn't maybe the right one. Let's just go ahead and move past that one and try to see what else we can move into that space, you know. I mean, that's what you got to do, right? It's just the nature of the beast, and business in and of itself is, you know, either you got to do everything or you got to like find people that you can like hire or whatever to do it with you. And martial arts is hard like that. And jiu-jitsu for sure is super hard to just like hire somebody to come in, because you got to already have like a specific set of skills, and you got to already have like a pretty high level.
It's almost like a doctor. Like you can't just hire someone who didn't go to medical school and didn't do their residency. Like you have to have that. It's not a off the street type job. Like you have to have
there's got
credentials.
Right.
Yeah.
And so and it takes a lot of different kind of skills to make it happen too, you know. So you can't just call around and be like, oh, hey, you guys do jiu-jitsu? Well, we do jiu-jitsu. Can we hire you or whatever way and stuff like that? It usually doesn't work like that, because people have their own like systems and like ways that they like to do it. And it's kind of hard once you're pretty advanced in a lot of ways to plug into somebody else's stuff like that anyway. So a lot of times it's
it's
just hard.
Yeah. You did that exact same thing. You had to think coming from 10th Planet or not from 10th Planet as a brown belt. It's a really big leap going to a different system, different everything, like going from gi to strictly no gi, like that's, and you're already an advanced brown belt. So trying to get somebody to come in off the streets like that is just, it's hard, especially in Perry or in Middle Georgia.
Most places kind of
massive amount of
spent
people.
Probably the better part of the first year that I was around you, like the first 6 months of that first year, was just trying to figure out the language that was getting spoken around me. And I've been around jiu-jitsu for 8-9 years by that point.
Yeah, and that matters too, right? Where you're at, the word, and so that's hard to jump into, and to make it fit, And just some people can be really good at jiu-jitsu, and then they don't really fit your business like mindset or whatever. Which is, some people think some things are cool, or I think some ways are cool, and some people may think that that's not a good way to live and do business or whatever. And so you just don't vibe with some people sometimes, and then it's just that's business. You know what I mean? It just is what it is in that way. And so right now Mandy and we're basically taking on mostly everything at this point. And
Stephen and Mandy versus the world.
It's been that way for a while, and not always adversarial or anything like that, but just like, taking on to try to get our piece of the pie, so to say, not to trample on anybody else's stuff, but we're just going to go out here and work and do what we got to do to be successful.
Well, in the scenario of that, like we grow, you grow, we all grow, like that's kind of where this all works. We're on Brandon's channel today. We're talking back and forth with everybody, and like kind of the whole community feeds each other. And I think that like beforehand, it wasn't like that. Like, yeah, that's the point. The point is for everybody to win, because if one wins, everybody wins.
Oh yeah, the community of it for sure. I feel like if you don't have that, we have 3 really high quality martial art or jiu-jitsu gyms in Middle Georgia, including Macon, Warner Robins, and Perry. And if we were all just like jerks to each other, then that would be, nobody would want to go to anybody, because then you just hear all that before you even come to the gym. So it's definitely a community. We have open mat.
It'd just be a different vibe though.
Yeah, we have so many people from different gyms that come to the open mat on Sundays. Like you just can't be like that. Not in this, I don't know, maybe that's just Georgia, maybe that's just because we're in a bunch of small towns still. But I just think you if you don't build it as a community, then you're not gonna make it long term for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting the way that it is versus some places. And I just think that not needing to just don't need to prove anything to anybody in that way.
Yeah,
the proof's already been done in the ways of who's what, as far as how we all stack out as the coaches of the schools, I guess, in the area, sort of. I've done my thing, I fought my fights, I have my record, I got my black belt. Same thing with Cole. He fought his fights, he made it to his level. He's done it, and he likes the things he likes, and that's what they focus on the most, and that's where he gives most of his energy. And same thing with Bubby up in Macon. Bubby's done his thing, and throughout the years, he's coached more than all of us. He's probably been coaching, a lot. I know a lot more than I have for sure. I can't speak for all the time that Cole has been coaching or not. You know what I mean?
20 years on Bubby, I would say, including wrestling. Just straight wrestling.
For sure. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wrestling.
Honestly, even into that too. I didn't even think about that part
High school
too.
wrestling,
Honestly.
yeah.
So he was like a really super high level wrestler before he even got into. So there's just so much diversity. And then we were talking about it too. We're kind of far enough apart in a way that for the normal person that doesn't already train or have some pre knowledge of jiu-jitsu, it's kind of just oh, I'll do this gym that's close to me. It's not really you're going to intentionally drive. Cole's is 10 or 15 minutes, but Bubby up in Macon, they're 30 or 40,
30
you know what
minutes,
I mean?
Yeah.
So there's some people that may make that drive once they kind of know what's going on a little bit, but most people are just going to go to where it's most convenient or has the thing that they're kind of looking for the most, like striking maybe, or kickboxing or MMA or a big workout area alongside an area to do the martial arts or whatever, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing, is just a knowing and being confident in yourself and what you offer and what you can and can't do. And don't lie to yourself and don't lie to people. And then don't be upset when you're not chosen. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't be mad that somebody chose someone else to be their coach, you know?
Yeah.
And we talked about that before in a lot of ways, but kind of like when we were when I was in San Diego with so many different like coaches on the staff, you know, and like Sloan's coming Saturday, you know,
you just had so much opportunity to cherry pick whatever coach or what style you wanted to take out there. Cause I mean, you have class at 6, 7:30, 10, 11:30. Like you had jujitsu all day long. And if you liked a certain style or a certain coach, then that's where you could put your time and energy into, or you could do them all. I mean, not all day, but you could.
A lot of people, it fit their schedule. If
Right.
you worked in the afternoon or in the, you know, whatever, you trained opposite of that work schedule. For most people, the people who are like super crazy jujitsu people picked who they liked the best kind of and went majority to their stuff, and then kind of filtered into the other of our classes however they kind of wanted and saw the need or whatever, you know, to get more work or whatever it was. And that's fine, you know. And it helped me to really like understand that thing about, you know, coaches, and you're not always going to be the guy for everybody, even if you have even if you have great intentions, right? Even if you like them, even if you don't like not get along with people or whatever, like they're probably just going to choose
whatever works for them.
Yeah, whatever
At that moment.
what's the best thing for them, you know,
Yeah.
which is not selfish necessarily, but again, as an athlete, you know, there's not much wrong with being sort of selfish.
Well, and then you're having the discussion of like, what's your goal? What are you doing this for? Are
that's
you
what I'm
trying to be a professional athlete?
Do
Are
you
you trying to
have
do this as a
time?
hobby?
Right.
Like, yeah, what are
Exactly.
you trying to do? And then that'll kind of determine who you're going to pick.
I'm one person with like my one set of ideas, my one kind of way that I like to do it. And I know of other things that people like to do and like things like that. But my experience doesn't always like relate to everyone else's experience or translate over to what they're kind of looking for out of stuff. And I know that, and I get it. And so that's why I've learned to kind of like double down on the things that I like and the things that I do, and like really like talk about that and emphasize it, and then try to allow people the freedom, kind of like we were talking about the other day, the freedom to kind of choose what they like to do within the confines of what we're kind of working on overall, you know, and trying to give it, you know, more of an open-ended kind of feel, instead of always being so like definitive with people. But some people want you to tell them, you take your hand, you put it here, you take your other hand, you put it here, you grab this, you grab that. When they do this, you do that. And like, that's how they need you to do it, or they don't really get it, you know? And so it's kind of that thing where it's different strokes for different folks. And
that's like Brad Anselment. Sorry, Brad. He said that he drives 45 minutes to the closest spot. The next closest is an hour and a half away. To top that he doesn't have that great of a schedule, and the instruction is less than that. Like the instruction, like it doesn't exist. He said just a bunch of dudes rolling, but he's like still better than nothing.
Right.
I mean, I get it. Like I've been in the same situation, but like the whole reason that I travel and do what I do is to bring back and build back up. So I mean, like like you're saying, different strokes. Like, what's your end goal? Like, what are you trying to do?
It's kind of funny, man, thinking about that picture that I posted yesterday from
Valdosta
a long time ago in Valdosta, like 9 or 10 years ago at this point, where I started. Like, it's basically that thing. Like, we came back, I was living with her at school, and there was people training and doing MMA, but nobody was doing, not really that I like there. I guess some people may have been, but not really that I knew about that much, and not at the level that we were trying to do jiu-jitsu in the city. So I just started teaching as a blue belt, you know, and I became a coach. I wasn't like the head,
just out of necessity.
Right. I really, you know, and despite trying to be humble or whatever, I felt like I was the best guy in the room for jiu-jitsu stuff, like mentally for sure a lot of times.
And the coaches at that time were straddling between two gyms. So we needed, in order to train more, we needed some
more of a striking mindset, you know, really good MMA striking kind of stuff like that, get ups and different things a lot more. You know, the you know, and I wanted to do the gi because that's the way I was going to earn.
That was the way. That's how you got the black belt.
Yeah, exactly. And I was on the journey. Like I wanted to be the martial artist, you know, like I always did. I always wanted to make it to this kind of end goal of some sort, some way once I started. And so just seeking it out, you know, and training and traveling and, you know, the same thing. It was the same way for me for the 3 to 4 or 5 years or whatever we were in Valdosta. I don't remember now.
I think it was like 3 years.
It all runs together. And then we moved and then, you know, jumped to somewhere else. But yeah, at this point I had been teaching and training people for 2 or 3 years, but never really given any rank. I think the day that I left, I gave a couple dudes like stripes on their white belts just to kind of be like, I love you.
Here you go, bud.
Like I love you. You know what I mean? Like I can't do anything. Yeah. Like I felt so like whack in a lot of ways because I couldn't.
So what's your advice to that blue belt that's in that position? I mean, is it just keep going to the mountaintop?
You just got to keep hustling, man. You got to keep going out there and seeking it out. And
like the grind thing, like we've talked about this, like there's the blue belts out there that like, yeah, they keep hustling, but if you keep hustling for 20 years the wrong way, you're hustling the wrong way. So like, how do those guys correct that?
Well, what's the goal?
You got to
like, what is your goal?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. What do you mean? Like, I guess like the blue belt guy, what are you trying to be, blue belt dude? Are you trying to eventually make it to like whatever you think I am? Well then, man, you got to do a bunch of crazy shit. You know what I mean?
That's like
what go broke 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times. Find a lady that's very intelligent and wants to help you succeed at almost any cost. You know what I mean? Find some good people that want to support you and help you
plan.
You know, and just, dude, don't stop believing. Like as lame as whatever that is. Like that was my whole like mantra for a long time. Like
planning a little bit helps.
We had
too.
shirts. Nah, man, no plans. Bro. No plans.
No plans.
Plan B's will get you off your course.
No
right. Like understanding like the potentials or whatever, right? And maybe long-term planning as an overall thing, right? Is right. It's good, right? To have a goal, I guess I would say. And so you need plans to get to a goal. But
I think there's a difference between a structure and a plan.
Plans
I
don't
think
work.
A structure breaks. A plan is malleable.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
I can't think of anything specific to say to argue with you right now on that one. So I'm gonna give you that point today, Isaac.
Ding ding. I need a key one.
That was a good one. So maybe so.
I think it's just a connotation to each word. But I definitely think structure, I guess you say, is a little bit more rigid.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
I think too many people get rigid in their idea of what the end goal is.
Was this my plan though?
I mean, I think that it was your intentions.
Yeah,
I think you got exactly what you intended.
For sure, your plan was to be a black belt and to own your own gym since like day one. That was your plan.
That's been
now.
Valuable.
Did you have structure? No. Did you think we were going to go here and then there and then come back here? No.
That's what I mean by structure.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally agree with that. The verbiage of plan. My plan. I plan to be a black belt and I plan to open my own gym. Where we were going to do we think we're going to go to Perry, Georgia, right, of all places?
But that's the thing, right?
Exactly.
The plan is. It's got to change, right? So like, I don't think that's. I think
the structure has to change. What you just said, the structure is the like the step by step. What I'm going to do to get to there.
I don't know, man.
You can just be arguing definitions at this point, but I like the way that Isaac set that up for sure. Plan is more ambiguous, kind of the big idea up in the clouds. This is what I plan to do. Structure is how I'm going to get there. The steps to take to get there. Oh. Thank you.
That's not for you. That's for him.
Yeah, but
she's just contributing.
I was just agreeing with him. I was putting that out into words.
There we go.
I was putting it on paper what Isaac was thinking.
Okay.
Stack Mama's in here said that the path is different from the plan.
Oh.
See,
I come by it honestly.
She needs a mic drop on that one.
Keep confusing me even more here. I'm not supposed to be thinking right now. I'm supposed to be like helping talk. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that makes a lot of sense to a degree, right? But I just.
But what you just said though about the path as a goal, that if you want to spin that back around, that's the same concept.
I see people talk a lot about like things about the path, and you see all kind of weird quotes where people have the path in there, and so like to me, I have one, and then I see other people's, and it's just like that just really confuses me the way you're saying that or whatever. But I've kind of looked, and I've had this one, and it's even what it says on the floor mat at the gym, is that the path is the goal, right? Everybody's like the journey or whatever, the path is the journey. I don't know what, like all those other kind of things, like, you know what I mean? But like making the path, carving this own path, that's the goal, whatever, you know, it's been, whatever it was gonna be, you know what I mean? And I guess the plan is like you got to be ready to sell out and be prepared to lose like a lot if you're going to try to make it, unless you're just like some kind of phenom, in which case be prepared to lose at some point
in a catastrophic
and it hurt
way.
really
Yeah,
bad, right?
exactly.
You're
And
going to be the
prepared to
best
pick
in the
up the
world, and then you're going
shambles.
to crash.
You know what
That's
I mean?
why I'm more impressed. Like when you talk about people that are like champions and that are like world champ, I'm more impressed by the guy that got to that point, got knocked off by whatever, himself, him, like another somebody or herself, or like somebody knocking them off their you know, off the podium, like however it happens in their personal life, like, and then coming back and then redoing it. It's like, you know, I mean, you could talk about like Tyson Fury, like people like that, like that make a comeback. Like, I'm a little bit more impressed by that.
Everybody likes a comeback story though. Like over time again, like people,
it's more realistic because your whole life isn't just roses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people do, but then that's fake. That's just what the internet shows you.
I don't think anybody's life is all
Nobody
roses.
gets away clean.
Yeah.
No. I totally agree. That's just what they show in the age of social media. That's the only thing they show. They don't show what it took to get there. They didn't show all the pain.
Well, it's so hard to show what it takes to get there because, like I said, I've been doing this before we were even taking pictures, and back a lot of the time we were like, don't take videos and pictures of this and post online. A bunch of posers. They're not even really fighting. They're just out here taking pictures of themselves, trying to act like fighters. You know what I mean?
With a cool tap out shirt on.
I mean, because we were those guys too. You know what I mean? But
or an
this was the thing. It's like, you know, everybody talks
never
about
had an affliction
like,
shirt.
Don't lie.
He's a wannabe or whatever, and it's like, well, yeah, heck yeah, I am. Like, I want to be a professional fighter. I want to be a black belt. I want to be a respected coach. I want to be.
But why is that? Like, why is that a negative connotation that we have towards like the guy that's trying to be the rapper? Like, that's why,
because other people are quitters and they're afraid,
and
they don't want to see somebody else do it, because then that exposes that in themselves, that they see that, oh shoot, if he could have did that, this guy that I was talking all this crap on or whatever, or hating on, or that I thought I was elevated above, if he could do this thing that I wish I could have done, then what does that say about me? You know what I mean? Like, he went out and did it.
Well, people don't want to be held accountable either. So if they put out that I'm trying XYZ and I don't get it or I don't succeed, then people don't want to show that they failed. So I think that's why when we talk about the wannabes, people don't want to show that part, because then they're like, well, if I fail now, I look like a loser. And
they don't want to look stupid.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, it's okay to try.
You lose people though. You lose followers, you lose fans, or whatever you want to say, customers.
Yeah.
But they weren't for you.
Base or whatever. Right. Exactly. And it's hard and it sucks, because sometimes you keep grasping for them and that because it's comfortable and it's what you're used to. But that's not the path to growth, and like carving out new places and spaces is not, you know, clinging on to old and dead ideas maybe, or feelings, I guess, that may not really exist out there in that way. So just like, I guess I would say just really be malleable and be willing to like change, like just be willing to like change and accept what is for what it is. And then also knowing that, you know, and this is a conversation I've had with some people too, and it's an argument that we have a lot of times too, though, along the way for sure. Like there's gonna be more money. Like there's gonna be more money. Like there's other jobs. You can go get a job. You can go make more money. If you know what I mean? So take the chance on something, like run an experiment and see what happens. You know what I mean? And sometimes it don't work. You know what I mean? And then sometimes it does work.
Yeah.
And you just kind of fail forward is a phrase I like to use a lot. You just kind of fail forward. Even if you
not to be confused with fail forward. fail forward. Spell it.
FAIL.
Yeah, instead of fail. You're
Fail.
yeah.
Fail forward.
Fail.
I thought that was pretty clear.
No.
Fail.
Fail. Fell.
Fell.
Fail.
So, no, it's fail.
No, it is
Yeah,
fail, but
that's
in a
what I said.
southern accent,
She's just trying
fail
to. She
sounds like fail. No?
Well, I would say that like I agree with that to some extent, but I think that like more in the lines of the same thing of the plan, because if you fail man, now I hear it in my own voice. But like when you fail, like you don't want to
When I
fail
fail.
the same way over time. Gosh,
That's what I'm saying.
terrible.
When you have too much of a southern
It
draw
didn't
on
really
it,
exist. though.
fail goes to
But when you fail, like that's one of those things that it's the plan is maybe a plan is knowing what happened last time so that you don't do it again, and then the failing forward isn't just failing in a circle. Because I see a lot of guys do that. Like I see a lot of people in the
like
that's
a,
not
a
forward,
vicious
then.
cycle.
right.
Yeah, no, that's
right.
just-
I know it's not forward.
But
but what I'm saying is
like,
that's
yeah.
where a plan comes in.
Oh. No, because you need the structure if you want to fail forward.
You fall down a structure as it breaks.
I think you're.
Y'all can't pick apart my own like process.
It's like a
They
really-
asked me, not y'all.
It's like a really backwards Venn
Are
diagram.
we still answering a question here? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. Y'all talking about the
No,
process.
that was I think your mom was
We
talking
went off
about
on
the
some
path.
tangents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, she said you can't fail or find that you fell if you don't do anything.
You gotta have risk. You gotta
It's a lot
risk
of
it.
Yeah,
fail
yeah,
involved.
Yeah, you gotta risk it. There's got to be risk involved,
Or no
in
reward.
yeah, there's nothing to win.
All
then.
day long.
Right?
Brad feels we were answering the question well. Let's see. He said, I've heard that you'll have a hard time if you're only half in, relying only on the safety of what you already have. You can't commit to making the dream work.
Oh yeah, you can't have it. You're
Safety kills.
yeah.
Comfort kills.
Gotta
all that
go all
stuff.
in.
Like
Got to go all in. I agree with going
that
all
kind
in.
of burn the ships
Yeah,
analogy that
yeah.
everybody likes to go with.
But
or
burning the
whatever.
ships, that was a plan. They made the plan to burn the ships. So
And then what though? But what's the next plan? What's the plan after
it
that?
develops. It's malleable.
Wait, I thought we said the plan was the big ambiguous thing, and the structure
Right.
was how you got there.
That's what y'all
And they
said.
burned the ships, and
Well,
the
that's not
ships
the
were the
plan,
structures.
then.
Ships were the
The
structure.
ships were the structure. That wasn't. I didn't
So
plan
you
to burn
burned
the
your
ship.
structure.
Right? No.
Man, this
You can't double back
this
on
went
it.
this went.
I don't even know what y'all are talking about.
Okay. All right.
To be honest.
Cool.
Your plan is to succeed. Your plan wasn't to burn ships. That happened in your
Everybody's
structure.
plan.
No.
Everybody's plan is to succeed.
No,
That's
I
kind of
just
like.
mean that ambiguously. Succeed in what? Opening a gym.
I mean,
being
that's
a
what I'm
black
saying,
belt,
but
yeah.
like-
The plan is not to lose, is what Brad said.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Brad. Yeah.
I mean, but you're
That
gonna
seems like a
lose.
Give
good
Brad-
enough.
But you're
give
gonna
Brad
lose
a-
some,
an
right? You
applause.
can't help but to lose some.
Thank you, Brad.
I guess
We got
that's
you.
what I'm saying. Like you don't
That's
get
for
to
Brad.
choose. You don't get to have it your way all the time, and you may not even get to have it the way that you thought you were going to get to have it, or want to have it, or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like,
And you have to
the
be open to
plan,
that, though. You have
like-
to take that and use it. You can't just keep failing and then.
this is better
Not
than
use
what
it.
I wanted.
Well, that's okay too.
So if I would have got my plan, I would have ended up a lot less than I am.
Okay.
My initial.
Yeah, I think I'm okay
I
with
can
that.
understand the
Yeah,
thought
I'm okay
there.
with
So
that.
you know what I mean? So like, it's
But it
That's kind of
sounds
like reach for what is that little reach for the stars, the moon? What is that little thing? And you land in the stars. Somebody help me here. You know, like reach.
Man,
shoot.
you gotta bring your own-
you talking
you gotta
about
bring
you
your
shoot
own
for the
cliches here.
you shoot for the moon, you miss, you hit the
Uh-uh.
stars.
Right, it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's like your plan was this big, but you got it bigger, and that's okay as long as you're still striving to be better.
I was
But still-
shooting for the like
Pluto?
clouds or whatever
Just
at
the
first.
clouds.
Yeah, but I mean,
ended up in Pluto.
but you have to make
The 10th planet.
you have to make
That's bad.
some sort of pattern, because if you don't have a clue what happened. Like you don't know. Like so, like I'm saying, like if you're failing and you continue to fail and then you turn around because like this is the problem in a socioeconomic standpoint of the people that like run through the same cycle and can't get out of the like wash rinse of like
right. Yeah, that's why I said you have to
you can't get
realize that you're
rent
failures.
paid, you can't get ahead, you can't do this. You have to recognize what it is that's doing that. And so like that's what I mean. Like you have when you hear people talk about like getting out of debt,
I mean,
that takes plan. But that's not necessarily a structure, but it's a plan.
You have to structure a plan.
Yes, and exactly. No,
now
is
we're
it.
just having English.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
you have the
okay.
plan, and you have to have a structure to get to that plan. That's exactly it.
I've
You
had
guys are
lots of
agreeing,
plans.
But
There
not
have been
agreeing.
lots of plans, right? The first plan was to not be fat and die working at an office job that I hated. That was the first like plan,
Ding.
right? And so then from then on, I guess gym owner developed after that, right?
Quickly-
So like
quickly
you know what I
after
mean?
that.
Like you know, like, once I got into it, it took not having a plan except for that I'm just gonna leave and see what happens. Like that was the plan. See what happens. Make it. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is,
make
make
it. And
Yeah.
I think I'm still just doing that. And we're progressing and I'm learning a lot of skills along the way and through failures.
So do you feel like it's successful?
Not yet.
Okay. Then yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then that answer, then that's where you're in the midst of
It's still
said
working
plan.
out. Like
You're
it's
still
still
structure-
working out. It's
Still
not
structuring the
I
plan.
mean, it could all disappear again tomorrow, right? There could be another thing that you don't see happening that takes your particular like industry or dream or whatever out of the picture for you.
See that, and that's where I think that like if you don't have a plan, then how do you pivot? Because how do you pivot? Like you plan your jujitsu, do you not? It to an extent. Like you have patterns that you
I guess
plan.
what I'm saying is like, what if your plan was to be the jujitsu coach guy or whatever it is, and then whatever happens, and now you can't do that either physically or like financially, it goes away or whatever happens.
See, I think I'm looking at it from like an even bigger, like further back, like because like
the
that's
meta
like
of it.
yeah, because like it's more of the it's if that happened, then yeah, you pivot to something else. You make another plan.
You gotta have another plan. If you make that goal or plan or whatever, you have to keep doing. You have to make a bigger one, or you're gonna be stagnant.
Yeah,
It
I
has
guess
to
that's the
change.
best way to put it.
Yeah, because you've made those goals from 10 years ago, but now what? You can't just I
didn't reach
what I
them
said.
all.
Yeah,
I haven't, but you know,
but some of them
that's what I'm
aren't
saying. So
relevant anymore.
that's
either.
a failure though.
Is it failure?
Well, but that's
though?
okay. We said
To
earlier
a
you have
degree.
to learn from your
Yeah,
failures.
To a degree. And that's what I said. I
Yeah.
failed forward when I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah,
I still learned things from trying out what I was doing
you fell for it.
and I
You didn't
got
go in the circle like
information
Isaac said.
from what I did. And it was like, okay, well, that didn't work. What is the information from this that I could apply to the broader?
So is that
message
not
of
making
it?
a plan?
No, it's just throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. I guess that's the plan.
That is the plan. Yeah, and then the structure
The
is
plan is
how
to
you get
just-
there every
But
time.
then once something sticks, then what?
You
see
gotta
where
make
we
it-
can
you gotta
go.
get a
See
new
how
one.
we can
Yeah.
like build it up.
Make
know,
it
or whatever.
Would you say make a plan?
a new plan.
Have we? I mean, okay. So you work with me on a lot of stuff.
Right.
Mic drop.
Come again?
Right.
I was reading Brad's comment.
know,
I,
y'all
was
just
waiting
got
for
really
that. I
quiet.
thought you were gonna say something after
I did say something after that.
He
right?
was
That's
well,
what
I was reading Brad's comment. He said the plan evolves, keep the decisions flexible, or you'll get painted into a corner. So like that's the whole like synopsis. of, I
Brad
think,
is
what we're
just
trying to
But
argue.
running the podcast for us. Thank you,
Basically,
Brad.
thank
I
you,
appreciate
Brad.
that.
And
I did paint myself
and-
into a corner though. Right. I put all my eggs in
And you
the
make them
in
happy
the-
little
in
trees
the-
though.
basket or whatever. You know.
don't buy Bob Ross paintings, by the way. Did you see all that?
Yeah, we watched it.
That was crazy.
Sad. Super sad. And that's another thing, like people getting exploited or whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff. You know.
His
selling your
likeness
and
or
stuff.
whatever.
No
Yeah.
plan. When he died, there was no plan. And so somebody who had a plan came along and capitalized.
There you
Get
go,
a
man.
living will, people. Plan
Would you
your-
say that's a
plan your
type of
life.
plan?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
a
I'm
living
just,
will.
I'm just going to keep, I'm sorry. I just keep it.
He's got one, right? He thinks he's got one. So
sorry.
He's
We're
just
gonna-
waiting for
I'm
it.
sorry.
I'm not necessarily arguing that
Right.
don't have a plan.
No, I know.
I'm just telling you that you will not
I'm creating a show.
you're not gonna win.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sometimes.
Right.
And
And,
you're not-
that's got to be part of, like,
You're
I
not-
think that
A
you have
fail
to
to
leave an
plan is a
open-ended
plan
bit.
to fail.
I believe I've read that somewhere.
Oh no, I definitely didn't make that up.
Just Googled a bunch
I
of
did,
that
not,
quotes.
I did not. That was right up here in my brain.
Called it.
That was
man.
better than the
Called
stars
out.
and the moon one I couldn't get. So I've been working on that one in my head quietly this whole time to make sure it came out right. But it is, I mean, as cheesy, as cliche, whatever you want to call it, that particular phrase is completely true.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that's
but so for a while though, honestly, like it felt like the plan was, I'm probably just gonna stay here at 10 Point at San Diego and be a coach on the staff and help grow this and live here. And Mandy will be with Geico and the kids will grow up in San Diego. Like that was the plan for a while until it didn't work out. And
so what
then-
didn't, like, what, I mean, without maybe making it
just
too personal.
financially,
but yeah.
just financially.
I mean,
That-
it's the expensive
honestly,
place to live, right?
me trying to be the dude that was gonna make it.
Because that's a hard place to
We
be
had-
that guy.
and I wasted
Yeah.
our money on
lots
on
of sharks in the
attempts.
ocean there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried too hard and it cost us sometimes. And then a couple of those stacked on top of each other back to back. And it was kind of getting really hard to recover despite our best efforts, you know? And so we needed to pivot again. And then, so I was talking about this with someone else. Like I didn't leave the gym in San Diego to open my own school. That wasn't like,
Not right away, no.
that wasn't initially the plan. Like I was coming back to Georgia to be a stay-at-home dad while she went to work to make like the money on the, you know, for the family to get out of debt over here. And then
Right.
as it developed from there, I just wanted to be able to do it again the way I wanted to kind of do it.
To have the
You know,
control over it, yeah.
there's no disrespect to anybody or anything like that, but just like I just wanted to feel the way I wanted to feel again. you
Well,
know?
and it wouldn't be like this if you were just another black belt that was coaching at San Diego, that was just a coach that was there. Like it might be different. There might be some
Well, you,
like
you just wouldn't have the
attributes.
control. You wouldn't have the major input. It's not
it
being
was
be a
not
lot
even,
different.
it
No,
wouldn't
but-
be yours.
It'd be
being-
less
oh, for
pressure.
sure,
It'd
yeah.
be a lot less pressure
Oh,
though.
certainly.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? There'd be a lot of things.
That's why I say
that
it's lonely at
wouldn't-
the top.
You come in at 10, you
You
leave
know,
at 11.
so-
There's no, you don't have to do all
It
that.
takes a lot of the stuff away
extra.
though that makes it maybe not part of the plan too. There's things
Uh-huh.
that I have to do now that aren't part of my plan. Things
Yep.
that I don't want to do that as being the
Yep.
head of the thing, and also the janitor, and also the supplies guy, and also the head rah person, and also
They go over that in the planning meeting.
like all that kind of stuff. Plan it, like do it.
No, I know.
Like plan it.
That's the plan. Like
The plan is like to wear a million hats
right?
until you can find people to wear some of them
Yeah.
for you.
Give your hats
Um,
away.
Like, and let other people lead and let them be a part of it and let them grow and do their own thing and foster those kind of ideas, because I think that's when I felt the best, is when I was able to do those kind of things. And then your plan can, I guess, develop there if there's such a thing as having a plan. But the best laid plans, man, just sometimes don't pan out. You know what I mean? Things just go against you. The market turns down. If it's a fighter, man, your opponent drops out, or the promotion guy does something shady, or the check bounces. That's happened
Oh,
to me before.
that
A
was
guy
disgusting.
bounced a check to me for my fight purse, and we were already in the hole, And so then my bank account bounced because my purse bounced, which was going to pay all our back bills, which then bounced. You know what I mean?
That was
So
gross.
now I'm talking to my landlord. I'm talking to the power company, the phone people. Every bill that we had was now in worse than debt. I'd written bad checks to them because I had gotten paid, quote, not paid.
Got a piece of paper.
And then I had to wait for that all to process out.
And basically, you just get from those guys like I owe you.
My bad, dude. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, man. It's never happened before. I promise it won't happen again. It's like, oh, you right. You're right. It won't happen again. Not with me and you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to give you that opportunity again.
But there's so many guys that get fed through those systems and
They don't care.
get-
Well,
yeah.
they're like,
They don't
don't
care.
reach out to the commission.
yeah, don't tell the
We'll,
commission to make
we'll
them cash in the
this.
bond or whatever,
What?
because then they'd lose their
Yeah, they
licenses
lose
and
that
stuff
bond they
like
put
that.
up, like 50,000 or
And so,
100,000.
or whatever. Yeah, whatever their state is. So like,
Depends on the
there's,
state,
dude,
yeah.
there's a ton of things that can just like go wrong and like
Every day,
ruin the
yeah.
plan. You know what I mean? So that's what I say is like, I guess being flexible and just like determined to like do something that's gonna make you feel like fulfilled in
Yeah.
some way.
I think that's the ticket. It's like, why are you doing it? And or if
Well, it's
you're doing
always
it
the
for
why.
that, yeah,
I think if you don't have a solid why behind it, then what are you doing it for? Like,
then you won't be able to pivot because you never really
Yeah,
actually know.
you're right. If you failed and you come and look like, how did I fail? Why did I fail? If there's no why, then it doesn't matter. That's how you're talking about people just go in the circles and just keep. If you don't know why
I'm
you're doing
passionate
it,
about a
there's
lot
no.
of things that don't
Yeah.
make money.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and is money the goal? Is the question.
Enough, right? I guess to a
I mean,
degree.
it depends. I mean,
It's
like, what are you
relative.
trying to do?
It's relative, right? And so that's what I'm saying. What do you need to get the things that you need to
Needs versus.
I do a
want
lot of things
as
that
well,
don't make
though.
me money, but it's because I believe in what they can do.
same, and have for this whole time.
Yeah.
Still, like that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's still where we're at. We're still on the path of that right now.
Right.
In Costa Rica, we had the idea, and I did. Like I tried to do it one time already, and it did not work out. Like we had to back up and punt and like reconfigure it and tried it again. Very, very much smaller. Was able to kind of do that one and got through it. And so then this year we like decided to go larger again or whatever. So yeah, just trying to. I'm sorry, what was I saying? You confused me. Don't do that.
Sorry
Sending me text messages across the board. What did I say? You don't
about
even know.
the Costa Rica making it larger.
Costa Rica, you went to
Oh.
the smaller. You picked
Yeah, and so we tried to do really big and it didn't work. And then we tried to do small and like figured it out. And now we're scaling it a little bit. And now this time we've learned a lot from going a little too like broad in what we were doing. You know what I mean? So next year and the times after this, we'll be able to like narrow down what we're doing and what we're offering and like make it even better, like and clearer to us and to everybody else what we're doing. And it take a lot of the pressure and the stress out of it, right?
Well, then you
So,
can
like,
pivot from
but
what we did now because we
That
already have
was
the
a
mats.
terrible plan if it was a plan, right? Doing it this way was
It was
It's
the
like,
structure
there
of
was
how
no
we got there.
structure.
Yeah, that was a problem. The mats became
So
an issue, but now that they're there, that's
We
where
just-
you make you
we're
pivot
gonna
off
do
of
it.
that.
That
yeah.
was, I guess, that's what I'm saying. Is like, is that a plan? Is like we're just gonna do this? How?
Yeah, I'm saying Kirby helped put some structure.
no,
down.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I
Yeah.
mean, though. But like, it's been a lot of like trial and error, and it costs more money than it was supposed to several times over on almost everything that we've ended up trying to do. That was things we didn't really understand. There was hidden layers and nuance that we didn't quite get because we've never done some of this stuff before. Negotiating with people who are, millionaires or maybe more, and we're having conversations with these people about numbers and different things like that and trying to figure out shit. I don't know, man.
A lot of negotiating for sure.
I don't know, man. How much is this worth to you? And you tell me and I'll take it. That was kind of how I started out with a lot of this stuff. It's like, I just want to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't really care. But then now I care because we're down to the crunch time and the fight's coming up and we, got to get this travel money in, got to get my corner there. You know what I mean?
It's funny.
Yeah,
but
it's just
sure.
like
It's
it starts adding up again. You know what I mean? Even though things have been like done and paid for and like whatever, it still comes down to like it's still work. You know what I mean? It's gonna be great and it's gonna be fun, but it's been a hustle. And once we do it, then we'll know what we're doing. Right. And then maybe we can plan like the next one a lot better and have the systems in place to make it work, So I think a lot of it is just going out there and like taking a swing at stuff and just really like giving it a good try. Like you can't fake it. It's not a feint. You know what I mean? I'm not going out there trying to like act like I'm doing these things.
Well, a good fake is doing it like you're gonna do it.
and then go with it.
Yeah, I read that somewhere before.
I heard somebody said it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like you can't be out there just trying to act like you're trying to do stuff. You got to go out there and get in the mud sometimes yourself if you're trying to figure out what's going on and it's not happening. If things aren't going well, you can't just let it be then. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, I didn't have the plan to be back on teaching 17 classes a week or whatever she said it is right now. I had some people that were filling in some gaps for me and stuff like that was helping out a lot. And now it's kind of worked out to where that's not the case. So now I'm back doing this and that and everything else that we're doing, you know, so it just is what it is. You got to accept what comes at you and work through it. You know what I mean? Just get it done and accept as you go through things, what's for you and what's not for you. Yeah. You know, you can learn a lot about what you will do by thinking about what you won't do, right? Just being honest about that, you know?
Yep.
Is there anything else y'all want to plan about?
Yeah, buddy.
Costa Rica's gonna be freaking awesome though, dude. Like,
Who's the coaches? Give people the rundown again, because it's gonna be season 2 of the Dream
we
Show.
have been talking about it a lot, I guess, because I've been just like
Stressed
under the
about
gun
it.
with it or whatever. Yeah, I've been stressing because people are not being able to come because of different issues with work or with passports or
Life
different
plans,
things. Yeah,
things.
you know. So it is what it is in that way, and that's made it stressful. But like, it's October the 10th through the 16th, right? The 10th and the 16th are travel days. But myself, Lindsay McCatherine, and Kyle Chambers are going to be the instructors for 4 seminars. I'll do 2 of them, and then there'll be some open mats in the evening. And we're at Hotel Costa Verde in Manuel Antonio, which is this beautiful, like right off the side of the mountain place. If you look it up online, you can see how amazing it is. They have like some planes into the sides of the mountains, and one of them is like an apartment kind of deal or
so
whatever
cool.
you can rent the room. And then the other one's like one of our favorite, but actually where we kind of hatched the plans a little bit at El Avion, having some coffee to do the show. You know, it's just beautiful, man. And we're going to be doing jiu-jitsu there, you know, and it's going to be overlooking like the ocean out there, and
A little inlet right there.
sometimes there'll be macaws that like fly through or whatever, like red macaws and different things. There's lots of monkeys and like wildlife that you don't get to see and different things like that.
On a scale of like 9 to 10, what's the likelihood of me getting eaten by a panther?
Like
You?
Yeah,
1
like
or 0.
10 out of 10.
Okay. Maybe I need
Most people, very low.
I need somebody to sponsor
Isaac,
Keelan to come
ha.
along and accompany me in the jungle so I
Right.
don't die.
Exactly. This is
You gotta
I
have
need to-
someone to make the noise and someone to take the video.
Well, okay. So Keelan's not gonna save me; he's just gonna film me getting
Yeah.
eaten by a
he's just there to capture
Okay.
the
It's for,
moment.
I
it's for the
guess.
views.
touche.
It can happen, I guess, you know, but we've never really had any troubles like that, obviously, because we play it safe for the most part. But with that training stuff, there's going to be a day that we have discounts with the Manuel Antonio Surf School to go surfing. So half the
That's where I'm
people
gonna
or
be
so
all
are going to
week.
be doing that. And then on Wednesday that morning, we're going to do like a waterfall tour. And so half the people are kind of, you know, going into one or the other of those. Some people are doing both. Those are optional, but you know, it's a lot of fun. We've done.
Have you ever seen commercials when they shower underneath waterfalls? They're
Like an actual shower with like
they
soap
when
and
they're
stuff?
like
Stuff.
soaping their hair and they're like under
Oh.
the waterfall would knock you down. Never mind, that was my
Oh no,
typical
the waterfall.
Hedberg.
Yeah.
We've done.
reference.
I mean, I've been in some waterfalls that did
yeah,
knock
but
me
they're
down.
powerful.
Oh no,
Come on,
they
give
are.
me my Mitch Hedberg.
No,
Some
but I
of them.
mean, like that one
Some
that
of
we
them will
went
kill
to.
you.
Yeah, like there was 2
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
same spot. Like one.
Those are the ones
were
I'm
not
interested
pictured.
in.
Yeah,
There was
I
one
mean,
that
there's
was not
different
very
ones, and there's some that
picturesque.
are like that's what I'm saying. They're
I
side
like
by
to
side.
paddle off of them.
I mean, whatever, teach their own. You can go die down there if you want to, man. There's plenty of
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. No, I had some
Million
buddies that
ways.
did a kayak trip down there back when we were in college, and I've always wanted to go check it out.
Don't kayak during the October.
I'm
month.
not. I'm gonna be surfing.
it's
I'm gonna be
hot.
doing
It was,
jiu-jitsu, filming, and surfing.
White.
Same
water
thing.
rafting,
Right? That's
yeah.
it. Right.
Ooh, is there?
No,
don't do it
That's what I'm
during this
saying.
season.
Don't
Oh,
do
during
it.
this season.
Because it's the
dangerous.
rainy season. And a
I
lot
wanna
of
do it more. just
no,
so you
well,
know.
no, like 10 people died the
The
first time
year
we ever
we
went
done
to
it.
go
Not
to
our
Never
people. Nobody
I'm
with
not
us.
done.
It was
Nobody
like
that was with us.
it was like a bachelor trip or something, but it
other
was
tourists.
10
people.
Americans.
Dumb
And-
people.
Yeah,
we're
exactly. Just
yeah.
kind of just like, yeah, let's go do this thing.
And the locals were like, we don't do that.
No, like, oh, you
some-
paid? I'll
some
go.
other locals, yeah, some of the people were a little, and they're in jail now. They actually just came out. They're like,
Oh, really?
15 years for taking those people out.
Yeah, they
Oh,
shouldn't.
wow.
They shouldn't have taken.
And they
them.
should have never been out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the rainy
known.
season.
It's
Yeah.
known.
Yeah.
Like, we had a guide that we were there, like when it kind of happened, and we had a guide that was taking us to another tour or something. He's like, yeah, no, you don't do those
You
kind
don't
of
do
things
those.
during this
Mm-mm.
time of year. Everybody knows that. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh well,
Yeah, so all the
Thanks for letting us know.
locals were like distraught.
They were
They're like,
shocked.
you would never do that. Like you don't do that in October.
because that's their whole industry almost is tourism.
Yeah.
So you're out here
Yeah.
killing folks. Nobody's gonna
Nobody
come,
wants to
and then we
come.
all
Yeah.
starve at
Yeah.
that point. You know what I mean?
right.
So
Yeah.
for the most part, people are going to be looking out for you, but there are going to be people that are trying to sell you things, you know. So
That's traveling internationally anywhere though too.
Oh, yeah,
like
we
you
got-
always
we got
gotta like
duped.
try not to get like
Oh, we did.
hoodwinked.
We did. What was it?
A little bit.
What was the
a mangrove
a
tour
mangrove tour?
on the boat
Ooh.
or whatever.
The guy, we were down at like the national park, and as soon as you drive into the national park, there's everybody trying to sell you something, right? It's
And
like,
the badges don't necessarily mean anything.
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's
they'll
kinda like the
flash their badge,
people
but it's
talking about
just
the
not a real
vaccine
company.
cards or
I don't
whatever.
really mean about.
So he was like, yeah, we'll give you a discount. We're like, cool, we'd love a discount. We get down there, it's this kid, like
Doesn't speak English.
15 or 14, yeah, no English at all, not even broken English, and he was trying to show us, and the river was muddy, it was yucky.
Sketchy. It was dangerous.
Yeah, and then he was like pointing to animals and saying it in Spanish, and at that point we weren't as brushed up on our Spanish,
Not
and
hip to the
he
game.
was just like pointing, and we realized like we went under a bridge and it was like some bats, and we were like, oh, there's some bats under a
I was
bridge.
like, are we stuck under the bridge now? Or
Yeah,
whatever? It's
it was-
weird, strange.
Yeah, we definitely got hoodwinked
Yeah.
on that one, but
I'm glad we made it all up.
yeah, here we are.
Fail
was-
forward, not backwards.
But the guy from the surf school actually does
Playing.
jujitsu down there. Lorenzo is actually
Yeah, Lorenzo,
doing,
my buddy, he owns him and his dad.
So will he help me not be a white belt in surfing?
That's who
Yes,
we're gonna go train
he's-
with,
yeah,
like or
he's
whatever.
someone-
So like that's
yeah.
my guy. That's my dude. So we're gonna go down there and crush some of that out. And then Friday we're gonna do like a catamaran
so cool. You can see
cruise for like the
whales.
closing ceremony. There's a chance that you could see
Like
some whales.
Catamaran? Do you mean like is
A
it like
boat, like a double
sailing?
decker kind of
Oh,
boat.
like a dope like.
Yeah, like the big
Okay,
flat.
see,
boats.
I'm thinking like Boy Scout camp catamaran.
no, like a
Oh,
booze
no.
cruise.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like
okay,
a boot.
okay.
You should just call it a booze
Okay.
cruise. That's what it is.
It's just it's like a yacht, like
yeah,
optional
a yacht that
party
can sail.
boat. Yeah.
and it
And
has
the one
like,
that I don't know if this one that we're gonna get on is the one with the slides for sure or not, but some of them have slides that you go off into the
Super
water.
you
yacht.
could die on.
It was
Super
fun.
yacht lounge.
Oh yeah, to the
Yeah,
people
that
like
guy.
he fell on my head off the stairs though. This big like dude from Texas,
Oh,
man. Like
You did the slide
just,
down
like,
into
right
the
off my
ocean.
head.
They anchor down, like depending on the weather. The one that we went on last time, we couldn't go scuba diving because the water was a little too
little
cloudy.
dirty.
Because it had rained really heavy the day before.
Yeah.
But
Because
we
it's super
still-
clear, isn't it?
It can
Sometimes.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so we just did the slide. They anchored and then we just went the slides down. But so Steven slid down pretty well, but it was coming up the ladder. Steven was behind a really big guy and he slipped.
Well, the dude made it almost all the way to the top, right? He was like up there, and I was like, all right, I'll come now over to the ladder and like prepare my ascent. And then he just literally just like
It was actually his
landed on
descent.
my head, like and knocked me under the
Boom,
water.
boom.
And I was like, well, I'm all right, I guess. Okay, cool. All right.
That's why, like in scuba diving, you're not supposed to do the like to line up behind the boat. Like you're supposed to keep like 50 feet or 100 feet between you and the
Mm.
person, like as they're getting on the boat, so that they don't fall back on you. Because like, imagine if that big old dude, then he has a 20-pound tank behind him.
Oh yeah.
Well, and
that'll
Steven was already feeling sick to his stomach because he got kind of boat motion sickness.
Yeah, I'm not.
So Steven's
I've
like, let me
realized
get
that
off the
and
boat.
that-
He's like,
that
let me get off the
since
boat,
then, you know.
swim a little bit. That'll make everything better. And then I just
Did
get
it make it better?
Slight concussion, balances out the motion. Add a concussion to the motion sickness and see how that does.
you should bring Dramamine if you
Oh,
so I'm
hey,
going down.
speaking of planning, also, is there scuba going on? Do you know if anybody's doing
No,
scuba
I
and all
don't know
that?
anything about that.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that.
I was just saying that if anybody does any of that while they're down there, they got to plan for their flight because you can't have there's 2 days flying that you have to do. So like if you're going to dive early in your trip. Just a word of advice, traveling, wandering grappler stuff.
what does that mean?
You have to decompress
Like the pressure change.
Oh,
because the pressure
oh.
change. And if you fly
It's like
too
an
soon
astronaut in the
afterwards,
ocean.
You could die.
because when you go back
No
up,
way.
well, it's not die. It's more of just like the
You
bends,
could die.
but you could
But
die.
you could die from it.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could.
Let's just
but-
go straight to the end.
but-
You could die.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could
Okay,
die
thank
from
you.
a common cold too, but yeah.
Protect
Straight
yourself.
to the end. Just get there.
So yeah, I don't know about the scuba diving. I think like she said, it's gonna kind of be sometimes muddy or whatever during this.
And
maybe.
it's rainy and all
Yeah,
that. So
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
the
it's kind of
rainy
like being
season.
here right
Yeah.
now.
Right,
Like it
right.
rains in
It's
the
that
afternoon
late-
for an
yeah,
after,
okay.
and sometimes you'll get a late night thunderstorm or whatever and stuff like that.
I would
where
imagine the rivers
it's
are all
really
dumping,
pretty.
so it's
They're
pretty.
thicker.
A lot of
yeah.
them
That's why.
can.
That's definitely why you don't do the white,
The white water.
at
because
that
it
time.
could get really
Yeah,
like shifty.
Yeah,
As soon
Uh,
as the rain comes, it's really fast. the water is, the current or whatever.
And so there's just a lot of things to do. There's going to be a lot of cool people there. The 3 black belts that are teaching. And then there's probably like 4 or 5 other black belts that are attending, and another half
And then a whole
dozen
group
browns and purples and
Yeah,
different
BMAC
things
will
like
be
that.
there with Lindsay.
Yeah, it's not the BMAC show, it's the Lindsay show.
LMAC.
Yeah, it's the LMAC show.
LMAC show.
Like honestly, and the reason I asked Lindsay to do it instead of Brandon was because we went to a seminar that she taught when they were
Really
doing
good.
a coaches camp last year, I think in Decatur, and she taught pressure passing. I always have a hard time saying that. Like pressure passing.
Pressure passing.
And it was really, really dope. And I was like, all right, well, I
I
want
like the
to,
way she teaches.
yeah, I want to like put her on the stage a little bit here and see what happens with that, because we have like a ton of ladies that are coming to
Yeah,
the
with
camp.
Mary.
It's at least like probably half and half or so or more, even maybe.
Wow.
I don't know.
Probably even more. Mary has a heavy female house.
So Mary Barton's coming, like, and she brought like 10 people with her or whatever.
That'll be cool.
So it'll be really fun, man. A lot of people from Austin's to the Planet School, about 10 or 12 people from there are coming. So it's gonna be dope, man. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then obviously, like the freedom that everybody, you can do whatever you want. There's gonna be training, but nobody has to do anything if they don't want to. The open mats are gonna be pretty optional, in the evening. I just think it'd be a cool place to be at sunset sometimes, is to see that.
Well, I'm gonna be on the mat.
I mean, yeah, there's just
There are gonna be guys that are
They'll
gonna
be
be
options.
like
That's what I'm
that
saying.
are
So,
gonna be
like-
like rolling,
Yeah.
like as if
I mean,
they were
that's
at
their
home.
vacation.
It
Yeah,
gets
they're
dark
gonna roll
early,
every day.
kinda too. So
Does it really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 5 to 5 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Sunlight hours or whatever. It gets daylight early, it gets dark early, kind of deal.
So plan your
close-
day a little bit.
I mean, that's why we're getting started at 8 on the training, is to go ahead and knock it out before it gets too late in the day. Because if
So
you
you
wait
can do
until
whatever you
10 to
want.
12 or whatever, then you've almost lost most of the sunlight for extracurriculars. So yeah, you can plan things, man. Like, I'm not against planning, dude. I'm just saying,
I'm just gonna chew on
In
it
my
the
life,
entire show.
I'm just
The whole
gonna,
show. I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna plan to beat that behind.
It's okay.
Good,
I'll
sir.
dangle my bad leg behind me.
You have 2 bad legs. You keep on.
Shh. I'll just let you break it.
I'm gonna break it. So yeah, dude, I'm just excited to get it going in there. We got all these mats and stuff, the transit and everything like that. Dealing with issues internationally when you're not there to get your hands on stuff and see how things are moving around. It's just a little bit more
It's a
difficult.
whole another game.
And
That's
then,
people's entire jobs.
Yeah. So
Import, outport.
Yeah.
Whoa, outport. That was not
Ex-
the right export. Yeah, there we go.
Outport.
I just made a board there. Sorry.
English.
and this is the
English
guy
is
that y'all
hard.
want to take advice
Oh,
from
God.
on planning. Oh, so you're talking about your mama now?
No.
Oh.
Actually,
Oh, Miss Amy. Miss Amy's in the chat.
she'll come after
Don't
me.
blame her for
It's
your
okay.
She'll text
medical
you right
affairs.
now.
But it's definitely not her fault.
So, but yeah, dude, we're getting through that one. That's going to be really, 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 really fun. And I think after that, we're going to hit one of the Mid-South tournaments.
Boom, boom.
We're looking at like absolute.
Are we talking about the big boys?
Yeah.
Or the little boys
Or
who
the-
think they can beat the big boys?
And then are we going to do like purple and down, or are we just going to do blue belt?
I don't know. Let's let the people decide over the next couple weeks.
Ah,
as
the
we
people
do
are
it. The people are
Like-
they're fickle. They're
I don't know.
fickle.
I think
Fickle.
when we throw it under you're gonna have to rewind it, Mom. She said she wasn't listening. But like I think when we throw the purple belts the bone, they usually show up. I think when we go upper belts, guys are a lot more.
They're scared.
Yeah, everybody, even the upper belt guys are hesitant.
Well, because
like,
there's
when we
so
do
much
this.
variety of 2 different black belts. It's just not the same. Like, so people are scared of
We
how
could do a-
how qualified is that black belt versus
We
not
could
black
do a
belt?
purple absolute and maybe a
When you
a
say purple, you mean
ladies-
purple and down?
yeah.
Like, so
Yeah,
anybody,
yeah,
can get it down.
anybody,
You can
anybody
always
that wants
fight
to.
up.
Yeah, you can always fight up, but like you don't want a brown belt, or do you want to do?
No, I just
Nah, I think
I would
purple.
rather try to get as many of the higher belts as possible. I like purple if it's purple.
Oh,
Instead
just
of just
keep
like
it
a
straight
bunch of
purple.
white
Oh, so you want to
Purple
just
belt
do
division.
straight
Straight
up
purple.
purple?
I mean, purples and blues maybe, or something like that. Maybe not throwing in white belts in the purple belt division, stuff like that.
I mean, this past weekend,
Blues and whites or
we
something,
witnessed
so.
we witnessed at PGF this past weekend in Jacksonville. I mean, that was a bunch of white belts,
Were they
Right,
throwing
but it was a
down?
bunch of white belts.
huh?
But it was a bunch of them.
Now I know, but I mean, they were throwing up like high level leg locks, and so I wouldn't mind seeing those guys against purple belts and
from a different background.
maybe put them in a different rule set and see what it does, or maybe put them in a different like that interests me. And I mean the people
Jacksonville's
can
got
chime
some
in.
Really good people.
And
I
they'd
think.
be down. A lot of those younger guys didn't even really know what we were doing, and they were like, "Oh, we would totally be down." So like, and it's just we're just now the Mid-South's kind of seeping out beyond our immediate reach.
Right. Getting more people than just your local homies.
I see your point. But
Maybe do an absolute purple and down, and then do like a ladies bracket of some sort on
you
the
can't
other
do
side.
absolute on ladies. They get too scared. You got to have some concrete numbers.
Well, you end up with it gets way too drastic in the difference, in my opinion.
For sure.
I mean, in the men's that happens too, but like
115 or what? What are we doing?
Ladies? I guess you'd have to get feelers to see what everyone
I
comes
mean,
in at.
115 would lean towards like who, like Nakaya, that group.
Maybe 125.
I'm just trying to think of who I know off the top of my head that are that level.
Actively
but yeah,
competing. Yeah.
We'll be between like 115, 125, and then see who has more interest for Mid-South. So Mid-South would be purple belt and down absolute, and potentially 125 or 115 ladies.
We tried 125, I think, and that's the one that
didn't bite off.
And absolute
Too big.
The ladies over here haven't worked out. They just didn't come.
They just didn't.
Whatever, too small for some.
So do you need it to be too? Do you need it bigger?
45 didn't quite. Not that didn't kind of pan out either.
Nobody.
Absolute.
That was 35. I thought it was. Or did we do absolute for women?
The first one was absolute.
Yeah, and then only got 7 or 6.
And then we just cut that last one completely because nobody signed up.
Flipped it because we only
that
had
125. Nobody signed up, or maybe like Kaya did. I think.
Stat Mama saying
Allegedly.
Put back in. What I mean, back up is a good example of like that's. I mean, we could do like 155 and down or 165 and down for the ladies and see what that brings.
I mean, they just again, it's not gonna fill out as much typically.
I mean, I know it won't fill out as quickly.
I think you just got to put out the
biggest thing is that like I want to.
Let's just say ladies bracket and just see who wants.
I want to make sure that we fill the brackets.
So let's say
I don't want to just throw in guys off the street or
right.
Filling the brackets. I want legit like matches, like a little bit of like people being outranked or whatever stuff's fine. Giving a person to come up and do that kind of stuff, that's cool. But I want to do like I want to make it competitive, like too. I don't want somebody like dunking their way all the way through on like white belts or whatever, and then like a purple belt beats a bunch of white belts or something. You know?
No, yeah.
Boo that.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm just talking about like what I witnessed this past weekend at the PGF.
Right,
like
and that's different. Though, I
like
guess that's what
guys.
like, that would be different to a degree.
Those are the guys.
And
that
was a
see.
16-person bracket.
Yeah,
at one weight class.
Yeah,
so that's again a little bit different. You're all 170, and you're all like 16 people. So there's some things that could happen there, but we're only doing 8, and so if you start splitting that down, it's only like 3 matches, period, to win it. And so if you get 2.
You dunk on
it's almost over. You know what I mean? It happens so fast, and there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But I just want to like.
I mean, that's the art of
what
matchmaking. Is you want a good. You don't want a bunch of dunk. Like you want a good competitive back and forth. It's cool to see those ones that finish in 30 seconds, but sometimes you still want to see that where you can actively see that they're working with each other, not just completely a washout.
We've talked about changing the rule set and doing a different rule set.
Yeah, and that's still on the table. That's probably what we might do. But again, I gotta feel like we got the right like group of people that are gonna commit to doing it and not keep like turning over on the way out really quickly for no reasons. You know what I mean? I'm looking for people like I want to see people who want to be successful. You know what I mean? I want to see people who want to keep like going and not necessarily just get out there and spin their wheels. You know what I mean? Like that's cool and all, but I want to make sure we're getting some real like hardcore competitors coming through too. And I think the way that a lot of the 85 bracket last time, like half of that bracket was like really stacked, you know? And so if we could get that like 4 and 4, like that would be a really, really dope, like full bracket kind of deal. You know what I mean? Instead of like we had 6 or, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like getting like 8, even if they're white belts, I guess I'm saying, but make sure that this white belt is somebody who's going to be able to hang. You know what I mean? They're not just out there.
That's who I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's hard to do if you just accept their
Everybody
first $100 to buy in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that, I guess that's more or less what I'm looking for. I don't care necessarily about your rank. I just want you to be.
I think we've only really seen
legit.
we've seen super quick dunks. Oh, Brandon McCatherine himself is in here. He said, yo, by the way. But,
yo.
anyways, I was saying that, like, I think that you do, it's, could we go super fight? Like route, or do you really want to get that involved?
That's too much matchmaking.
Yeah, that's
gets
a bigger
mess.
old.
That's a bigger mess than 2 brackets.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I'm more of was just saying that for conversation.
They're all scared. People are scared of super fights.
People back out. That's too. You can't
It's
hold weight.
I like the 2 8-person brackets.
I do too.
I would like to do it with the PGF like mini, like 1-day season kind of format.
Bro, that was so much fun.
Where everybody goes against everybody. And then maybe this way we only need to have 1 maybe bracket or so, and then a couple of super fights to break it up, because 8 people times 7 matches, you know,
now, that would be a fun. And then since we've struggled to fill the ladies brackets, we could do some ladies super fights to let them get like some runs at it or something like that, and maybe start building up interest and get bigger brackets.
I mean, even if it's a 4-person bracket, that way the money is going to be the thing that we got to come up with, like covering the gap to make it profitable. If we only have 4 people like buying into it to make it $1,000 prize, or we'd have to make the prize less, or, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Right,
that's where you get into like the business side of it. Like, and so I'm okay with doing some of that stuff, but it starts getting expensive when you're giving away $500 and $600 per bracket without having sponsors or filling it up, and you're giving it away without people competing their way through it all too, which is fine, right? Making do with what you say you're going to do is one thing, but I would rather.
You don't want to set yourself up purposely not to get the money to pay back, like
just, unless you know you have it, right? I don't mind breaking even for sure, and stuff like that is not a problem. But when we start like not without having the sponsors or different things like that, making sure
Malcolm just said that time to find some sponsors.
Yeah, so we're working on. That's what I'm saying.
So if you would like to sponsor a show,
listen, we have a good show. We're looking for great competitors. We're working on growing this thing outside of maybe the confines of what it is.
Right. If you get it outside the gym, you can charge people coming in, so you can help make a little bit more.
And then all that all comes with more work and more different kind of situations and problems and solutions and like things that we can go through, which is fine. You know,
we just have to have a plan for it.
You just got to go through the things.
I didn't say it.
And understand what you're doing, though. You can plan all kinds of stuff, but if you've never like done it or tried to do it, what are you doing?
Well, the thing that it boils down to is that it boils down to business and return on. They won't
action.
They want action. They want it to already happen. They want yesterday's success. And so like you have to give them yesterday's success so that they understand it, and then that's where it comes from. And I think that the whole community in the Southeast right now, between Brandon, between what Brian's doing over in Jacksonville, what the guys down at the Gulf Coast are doing, like there's so much going on right now that I think that you're at the crux of that, really, like, especially for just the 10th Planet guys, but like the jiu-jitsu as a whole.
Well, it's entertaining, right? To a degree, right? And that's the thing, you want to have it be entertaining if you're going to try to produce some sort of show around it.
Sierra
right. There's been a lot of it where it's mostly for the competitors though, too, right? It's to get them out there and get them an opportunity to compete. It's not necessarily been so much sales oriented per se. Right. So we got to figure out what that is and what that looks like structure wise to everybody and how it works out, you know?
Well, all they care about is eyeballs. They want eyeballs.
And so then we got to figure out what gets those in there. And it's not
what do the people want to watch?
It's not black belts submitting white belts in just a couple seconds.
I mean, but sometimes it is.
Nah, I don't think that's the long term. I think
occasionally, not a long term. No,
but unless it's that phenom white belt kind of guy that can hang or create some kind of real like situation.
He's got a hype about him.
There's got to be something.
Pete said they want to see blood. Pete is a sick man.
Well, MMA, right? That's what a lot of people are conditioned
Yeah.
for. They want to
Yeah.
see fighting.
That
You know what I mean? They
hands-on,
want to see people getting beat up and see stuff like that. And so your jiu-jitsu fan might be somewhat more like cultured to a degree if they want to just
That's a big stretch.
That was all right.
to a degree, right?
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's like, I'm not saying that there's not like,
I mean,
blood.
some of us want to see the freak shows. I mean, Malcolm just mentioned Jamie and threw up tents. I'm assuming that's what Malcolm meant. But like,
I mean, I'm all about a good freak show too, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but if you're doing a jiu-jitsu show, what is what you're trying to do? Is this a tournament where you're trying to find the best competitors?
right.
And then you want the best guys.
Which
or are
who's
you
number
doing-
one? We've already got that.
And
Right.
so there's
yeah.
stuff like that, and then like with the PGF season, having a white belt be in that or a couple guys that are lower ranked that present some problems, that gives like some different dynamics.
But I mean,
to
the white belts that are
season.
there already are white belts that earn their way. They won their way
They're
through
tougher,
tournaments.
right? And so that's what I'm saying.
Blue belts,
So
brown
it's
belts,
not-
black belts. Yeah.
It's not the same.
So if they get
that
dunked
way.
on by a black belt, they might have already
They've
dunked
already
on a
got
black
some
belt.
rep,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So you're mixing it up, and it does make it exciting in some ways, right? But it's kind of, if you know who's going to win already, then it takes some of the fun out of it, right? Then that's kind of, I guess, what I was saying. It takes a little bit of the like anticipation out of it. If there's no like true second that could maybe overtake the champion at the very least, there's got to be a real struggle for it to even be valid as a competition. Otherwise, it's just an entertainment show, which is pro wrestling or whatever, which is fine if that's what you're into. I like some of that too.
I think some of this is though, like it's almost to an extent like the pro wrestling where we actually fight each other.
It's professional grappling. It's professional grappling,
yeah.
Right. And so there's the storylines is what you want. I mean, you still need like a storyline to get people to buy into it. You want people
They want to
care about your story. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do you get people's attention? And like there's a bunch of ways you can do that, and there's good and bad ways that you can do that. And so I don't know, the bad boys of jiu-jitsu or whatever. I mean, I guess they're out there to a degree like
It's
that.
one way to play it. Yeah.
But most guys aren't that way. Most people aren't really like out there just like super abrasive in public
For
at
no
least.
reason. Yeah.
Right. Now they're super like protective of their image, and like the way people argue back and forth about who's better and different things like that when they feel challenged on their ego and stuff is one thing too. But
Well,
I don't know.
speaking of which, this week, or I don't even know, this is a terrible pivot. But anyways, this weekend, Saturday, you have something going
A
on
bad
at
guy.
yours.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I was more of just like
Is that where
pivoting.
you're going?
That's not where I was
Are
going.
you saying Sloan's a bad guy?
I never said that.
He is a caveman.
Mandy said that. I mean, cavemen have.
He has a pretty brutal.
He
caveman
looks like
necktie.
he grapples like a
It's gonna hurt.
angry man.
It's gonna hurt a
It's
lot.
a caveman. That's like he tries to live up to that. No doubt about it. Not in a negative way. He's a great guy.
He's smart.
He's a little
That's the
rough
thing.
sometimes,
It's like it's just in that way. He's grown up grappling his whole life, fighting his whole life. He's super tough, smart guy. He's not dumb like the dumb caveman guy, but like
He's not the guy coach.
No, like a brutal. But hey, I thought that guy was actually smart. That was the joke. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
no, yeah, that was the play on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, no, we're actually real people.
They're actually
We're
really
not-
smart. They're like
not-
it's a
educated.
lie. It's a
So
lie.
Sloan's
But,
coming in
yeah,
town.
He's coming for the seminar 11 to 1. I think we still have maybe like 5 to 10 spaces left on that one. Some people are out of town, so we didn't really pop our normal like in-class group. So we got a few spaces left if people are interested in that. It's $80. It'll be his front headlocks like systems and stuff that he has. With really, really good stuff. None of it works on me specifically, but it works on everybody else everywhere else. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's weird.
It's weird
that.
like that.
It's super strange. No, but dude, Sloan, like honestly, like he was one of the people that helped push me to a high level when I was out in San Diego. When I was a brown belt, he was a purple belt. When I got my black belt, he got his brown belt the same day. Stuff like that. So he's one of my best friends from out there, and it's just got a little bit different style than I have, right? Quite a bit different, I guess. Honestly, if you're gonna break it down,
What would you describe his style?
like I think more or less, like I would say, he's the guy that I reference when I say there's some people's style that's predicated around getting control of your neck
Okay.
and then seeing what happens from there.
How do I respond?
What develops from that. I'll
Yeah.
just squeeze it. Like I'm just going to squeeze your neck. And if it wins, that's good. And if this squeeze doesn't work, I'm going to try to add more squeeze to it in various ways. You know what I mean?
Pete said Sloan's style is super unique.
He's got like his system is between like, I can't remember the specific order now, sort of, but he told me one time, and that's how I started beating him more. It's like smother, crank, choke. He's trying to run those three systems the whole time.
Smother, crank, choke.
It's like, wow, I've never like heard it broken down.
I mean, that's a really good way to put it.
If
Yeah,
you
but
don't
it's like-
tap to the smother, then I'm going to try crank it a little bit. If you don't
Choke,
tap to that,
maybe a
then
smother, choke, crank, or whatever.
Well, I mean, it would make sense. I mean, because if I smother you, then you're going to
might get
change your
scared.
position. If you change your position, that gives me the opportunity to crank. If I crank, you may change your position again or tap, and then there's the
secure
choke.
Tune in Saturday at
That
11
makes
to
sense.
1 and find out the system that
tune
that
in
he
as
uses.
in to the gym. We're not going live.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to be
We're
here
not live streaming
per
it.
se.
I'll be filming it though.
I mean, yeah, and you know it's going to be good stuff. It's really cool, man. He was the fight to win like brown belt champion at 185 last year, I think, before he got promoted. Super tough guy, like really like tough style and like a good dude.
He's got a cool mustache too.
Does he?
Yeah,
A little
he's got
twisty.
the-
I know he's got the. Oh, is it a
He's got
twisty?
the-
I didn't know it
he's
was a
got the-
twisty. I thought it was handlebars.
Wasn't paying attention.
Well, yeah, I guess it's not full on with the curl, but yeah, he's got the, I guess, handlebars if we're specifying different types of mustaches.
He's a
I
really,
didn't-
really cool dude, man. And I enjoy Sloan a lot. So I'm excited to have him come hang out for a few days
For sure.
and watch him torture other people with his stuffs.
He puts beatings on people that make them look like they got time travel back to their tumultuous childhood.
That's
Pete.
Pete.
I
Thanks,
was
Pete.
impressed. I made it all the way through that.
No, man, like
Those some big words.
he's cranked on me like on the audio only version of the podcast that exists out there somewhere. Sloan's on there and we talk about some of our battles and stuff. Yeah, like he's cranked on me pretty hard before and made things pop back and forth, and
Maybe we'll do a show with him while he's in town.
being hard-headed and stuff like that. You know, it is what it is. You know, you come up tough like that and we made each other better. So yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
He'll be here Saturday. Other than that, man, we're just gonna keep like plugging a freaking long, trying to hustle, man, trying to make it work out. When the plans don't work, you gotta make a new plan,
Plan
A
again.
pivot.
right? Or
Pivot.
whatever that means, you know, and just keep going to the well, right? Keep experimenting, keep trying, keep hustling, whatever the thing is, right? Or just quit.
You can do that too. You
Just
just
quit.
quit. You just
Right.
quit.
A lot of people choose that option, and I think that's how I've
It's a
made it to
popular
this
one.
point, because lots of people just decide to give up when it gets hard or when the choice comes down to it. So yeah, just be an idiot and keep going. I think it's-
That's the best advice ever.
Yes.
if I can tell you guys anything, man, it's just hey, just keep on going, man.
Just keep moving.
Hey, buddy.
That's grappling.
All right, thank you to the Peach Podcast Syndicate, Parkway Automotive Studios, my beautiful wife Mandy.
Musgrove Trial Firm.
I mean, I was gonna say it, but he said it, so we'll say Musgrove Trial Firm.
678-226-1994.
Do
Call
all the
your buddy.
voices? Do all those voices make it better?
Mm-hmm.
I think it
different
does.
accents,
It does.
yeah.
It's just like ching.
Ching, ching, ching,
Because if you fail, then it would hurt.
If you fail to
But
fail, then you
It
fail.
hurts when you fail. So yeah, so thanks to everybody that's like hooking us up and staying in support. All the people are coming to Costa Rica. We're very excited. So I'll go ahead and shout out some of the sponsors for that too, like Supernatural Survival Gear, and
Foxhound
Dogfight
Fuel.
Dojo are combining to give us like an exclusive rash guard for the
Oh,
people who are
yeah.
coming to camp. Only people who will be there will get those. There's literally no other way. Foxhound Fuel sent us some stuffs that we're going to use for like hydration and like fueling purposes.
Recovery,
So that'd be really cool. I'm excited to get my hands into some of that stuff. And that's it. Is that it right now? That's all the people I can think of.
Specifically for the camp.
And Musgrove
Center.
Trial Firm. They're helping us out.
Always call your
Always.
buddy.
Call your buddy. All that stuff. Hit up Evan.
Hey, y'all,
Easy
I'm
E.
trying to rap over here. I mean, damn, come on now.
Applying pressure, the heaviest, the
Did you
best
have-
compressors, the iron jester.
You have to have
best
me on.
above the rest, I'm next up. Divine impressor, living life and feeling blessed up. Traffic director, neon colored self investor, bullshit corrector. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, roll tide, motherfucker. Row your boat gently down the fucking stream. Go. My youthfulness is only but a dream. Been warming benches for years. You think I'm here to quit? I'm out here doing what I gotta do, enjoying it. I'm really hustling.